Hello and welcome to my new makeup tutorial series. This series will be focusing on different goddesses and their myths. And today we're starting with Persephone. So the interesting thing about the story of Persephone is that she actually does not start out being called Persephone. She's the innocent and young daughter of goddess Demeter, who is the goddess of harvest and fertility, and also the daughter of Zeus, who is the god of all gods, and he's also like a thunder god. And so she starts out by being called Kor, and Kor essentially means maiden or young girl, and she's a goddess of spring. So she's in the mortal world planting her flowers, minding her own business, when Hades comes up from the underworld and essentially falls in love at first sight and takes her back down to the underworld with him. Now, when he does this, she obviously completely disappears from the mortal realm, and her mother is distraught. She has no idea where her daughter's gone, and so in order to basically express her grief, she strikes the land completely barren. Everything dies. Nothing can grow. None of the other gods or mythological creatures will fess up to where she's gone, even though she's going around asking everyone. And eventually Hecate takes pity on her, and they go and speak with Helios, who is a sun god, and he sees everything. And they ask him what happened. And he tells them that Hades has taken Persephone down to the underworld. And at this point, Persephone is now in the underworld, and she's been made, to stay there because Hades has convinced her to ingest pomegranate seeds. Now, in some myths, it's 3 pomegranate seeds, in other it's 9, 21, depending on what myth you read. But essentially, in Greek mythos, if you eat something in the underworld, you now have to stay in the underworld permanently. So Hecate actually goes down, and between her and Zeus in various myths, and sometimes Demeter is involved, in order to get the land to grow again, because obviously they need the people in the mortal realm to thrive, so they can make sacrifices and offerings to gods and goddesses. They make a deal where Persephone can spend the 6 months of winter in the underworld with her husband, Hades, and 6 months of spring and summer with her mother in the mortal realm to make things grow. And this is actually how the Greeks explained the change of the seasons and the eternal cycle of nature's death and rebirth every year. And what's really interesting is that Kor actually means young maiden or girl, and she becomes Persephone when she becomes queen of the underworld, which actually means death bringer. One of my favorite parts about this Persephone myth is that it tells the story of the cycles of the seasons, but also that Persephone is a goddess that goes from being this young girl to being sort of a formidable power. And even in other myths, she's shown as being even more hardcore and sometimes even cruel, even more than Hades, who is always sort of perceived as the antagonist in all the myths, even though he's really not doing much. So I really like that because it shows a powerful female figure, especially in a time when, women probably didn't have that much power, and maidenhood and virgin virtues are sort of prized above all else. But yet she becomes even more powerful after she's already been married off and becomes a queen in her own right. And I actually really like that because it describes how women can become more powerful as they age and not necessarily lose all of their beauty or all of their power because they are older. And so that's one of the reasons I absolutely love this myth, and I wanted to create a look that expressed the duality of the seasons and the duality of Persephone going from being Kor, the goddess of spring, and becoming Persephone, the death bringer, and the queen of the underworld. And I used entirely clean beauty products to create this look, so I hope you guys enjoyed it, and if you did, please give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel for more makeup tutorials that are inspired by goddesses, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.